We're making healthy, high-protein, frozen yogurt. We're gonna skip all the extra sugar, fat, and calories and instead be left with something that's filling, creamy, and absolutely delicious. We can have this recipe ready in just a few minutes, and I'm telling you, you try this once, you'll never go back to the ice cream shop again.
The texture is interesting flavor. You'd have something that was even more like an actual frozen yogurt dessert. Welcome back to the Anabolic Hub, where we make anabolic deliciousness. We're back inside my kitchen today, and we're doing another recipe review. We're going to be taking a look at the Remington James Anabolic Frozen Yogurt. It's likened to protein ice cream, which we know is filled with a lot of volume, limitless flavors, it seems, with all the recipes that are online. This is something here that doesn't require one of the main ingredients in that, which is guar gum and xanthan gum. I can speak from experience, maybe you can too. Those two ingredients sometimes don't always sit well. Now, this frozen yogurt recipe doesn't seem like it has the same amount of volume, but it's still a good amount. So we're gonna put it to the test. Is it actually enough volume that's going to keep you full and get you to the next meal? Is it going to taste good? There's not a lot of ingredients in it. It's very simple to put together, so if this is something that we can use in place of that, it's only gonna make our diets all that much easier. Seems like it's something that's going to be very flavorful, gonna be very simple to put together. We're gonna put it to the test, so let's get things started here by having a look at the ingredients. Here we go. Any vanilla-based whey protein powder, plain non-fat Greek yogurt, ground cinnamon, frozen raspberries, and frozen pineapple. So this is a super simple recipe. All we're doing is mixing 3 ingredients in our bowl here. Then we're gonna take it over to the blender, put in 2 different frozen fruits that you saw, the raspberries and the pineapple. We're gonna add in a mixture, blend it all up, add in a couple things for a topping that really don't count for much of anything. Then we're gonna take it right over to the taste test table to see how this one measures up. If you're looking for the exact ratios, I will link to Remington's original video in the description box below. Definitely go check it out if you haven't already. But let's get things started here by mixing together our first 3 ingredients. Wow, the exact amount in an actual scoop. Didn't even need the scale. So I'm not exactly sure why I'm adding more cinnamon to a cinnamon toast swirl protein powder, but heck, that's what happened in the recipe, so I'm gonna go with it. And once you get all the ingredients mixed up, you're gonna have this type of consistency right here, ready to go. Now it's time to go over to the blender with our frozen fruit. Adding in the raspberries. And the pineapple. And after the fruit's in, we're gonna put in our mixture. Now we have everything in there, let's take it over to the base and blend it up. Okay, we're back at the base. Time to blend this on high for about 2 minutes. Might have to scrape down the sides and blend it again a couple times, but let's get it going on high speed. Here we go. Well, that didn't work. Knew I was gonna have to scrape down the sides, but I didn't think I'd have to do it in the first 10 seconds. Maybe putting it on high initially isn't so good. Maybe you gotta warm it up a little bit, maybe low, medium, and just to get things started here. Not a lot of stuff in the blender. Let's try it again. We'll go a little bit lighter on the power this time. Okay, definitely not an easy blend, but it's done. And that's the end result of what's in the blender after it being on for 2 minutes. Scrape down the sides kind of during. Rem wasn't really specific if he was supposed to do it after the initial 2 minutes, but I felt like you definitely need to do it initially, and you definitely have to do it about halfway through just to make sure all the fruit gets blended up nice and evenly here, and that's what we got. So we're gonna be putting this into a bowl, adding on a couple toppings basically to make it look pretty for the thumbnail. Then it's over to the taste test table. And it's gonna be tempting, but definitely do not, I repeat, do not lick the blade. And voila, we are done and ready to take this over to the taste test table to see how it tastes. And we're back at the taste test table yet again to do another recipe review, the Remington James Frozen Yogurt Anabolic style, of course. Lots of unique ingredients. I'm sure it's gonna have a unique flavor. I personally have never combined frozen pineapple and frozen raspberries before, and I certainly have never done it with cinnamon toast swirl protein powder. Hopefully it's not one of those recipes where that protein powder overpowers the flavor in this, but that's part of the testing process, so I can let you know if that's the case for sure. We did add some cinnamon in there, so we do want to be fair. There is already some added cinnamon. Maybe you don't need that with this type of protein powder. I don't know. It's my first time making it, first time trying it. Definitely something to play around with. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to our taste test here. Here we have a lot of volume is in this bowl. Is it as much as protein ice cream? No, not really. I mean, the protein ice cream would probably be out to here, but there is still a solid amount of food that is in this. As you can see, it's filled up to the brim, almost spilling over. With no further ado, let's get right to our taste test. First bite, best bite, let's find out. Here we go. Interesting flavor. Definitely has a sour type flavor to it, which isn't bad. It's kind of like a Sour Patch Kids type flavor to it. A little tangy, if you will. I can tell that the cinnamon toast swirl is in there, or at least I can taste the added cinnamon that we put in. It's not a bad thing. I think the combination actually works really well. Good level of sweetness also in there, so it's kind of a good mix. Let me try it again. Yeah, there's definitely cinnamon toast swirl in there, but it definitely works with these two fruits for sure. The texture is quite similar to what you would get for actual frozen yogurt. It's kind of like a mix between what real frozen yogurt would be and what protein ice cream would be. It's not quite as fluffy as you would typically get with the original protein ice cream. So I'd say the consistency I almost like better in this than I would in the protein ice cream. The best part about a recipe like this is that if you didn't like that sour, tangy taste, you could actually use whatever fruits you want, and I bet it would taste just like that flavor of frozen yogurt. If you wanted to do just strawberries, you could do just strawberries. If you wanted to do just banana, you could do just banana. Really, the flavoring is coming from the fruit that you're putting in. The other things don't really contribute so much to the flavor. Of course, you do get some cinnamon, and depending on which protein powder that you do use, that will make a difference on the flavor. But again, I think if you just use a straight up vanilla based whey protein powder, you're not going to get any cinnamon. And if you want to not include the cinnamon that you do put in additionally, you could definitely get that part taken out. And I think you would have something that'd be more like an actual frozen yogurt. Because what is frozen yogurt? It's really just fruit, yogurt, and some sweetness added to it, right? So essentially you're doing the same thing here. Anabolic ingredients. This one is super high in protein. Definitely go check out Rem's channel if you want to see the exact macros. They're listed in the video. Again, I put the link in the description box down below. There is a lot of this too. I've already done about 4 or 5 bites, and it doesn't really look like I've made much of a dent into it. It's definitely a unique flavor. Also, I'm doing a lot of running around, moving the camera, positioning it in different spots, getting over to the taste test table here as fast as I can. Typically with a protein ice cream recipe, I'm rushing really fast to get over here before it melts. This is actually holding together really well, where I feel like I probably didn't even need to rush as much as I normally would to get over here to try it, because it's actually holding up pretty damn good. This is definitely a recipe that you can modify to your needs, whatever flavors you like. If there's a particular fruit that you enjoy, you could easily add that in instead of combining the raspberries and pineapple like I said. I think if you did maybe frozen strawberries only, maybe added in some 0-calorie sweetener to kick up the sweetness another notch, you'd have something that was even more like an actual frozen yogurt dessert. And of course, still loaded with protein. The more bites I take of this, the more I'm liking the flavor too. This might be the first recipe of Rem's that I've tried where he uses that vanilla-based cinnamon toast swirl and it doesn't overpower the recipes. Usually that does happen. That flavor seems to always overpower it, and it tastes like you're having whatever you're making plus cinnamon toast swirl. This isn't the case here. You do get a little bit of it initially. I might also be hyper aware of it because I use that protein powder all the time in his recipes, so almost expecting it to taste like that. Here, the more bites I take, the less I taste that, and the more I taste that sour flavor, which is really good. Overall, this is definitely a winner. I would rate it as an 8.8 out of 10. No doubt about it. It's something, if you haven't tried yet, you definitely should. It's something I think you'll really enjoy if you're a big fan of protein ice cream, or if you like frozen yogurt in general, anabolic or not, you're gonna love this. It's got a very unique flavor. I would at least try it once the way Rem has you making it. I don't think you'll be disappointed, and it definitely gives you a new perspective on an interesting flavor that is actually quite good. But it's getting to be about that time. I gotta get up out of here, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.